Hi everyone, in last session we have learned about arrays. In this video we will be going through objects. Again, objects are important as our arrays, but we use object to perform certain different functionalities. So like object has their own properties. And what are they? Object stores key value pair. Remember one thing, in array we directly store the values or the elements we have, but in objects we always store key value pair. Objects do not have indexes. We access the values using the key. We will be creating and we will see that what exactly will be the key and values and how can we create. Third thing to be remember about object is that object are reference type. Well, now let's create a basic object so that we get an understanding how can we create an object. So to create an object, write let my object. You can give any name. I'm just writing so that it will be very easy for someone who is watching this video first time to understand that okay, we can create object like this. So or I'm expecting that you are having a basic idea about all these things. We are just reminding and recapping the things so that we get a fair enough idea about those things. So this is an object we have created, and let's say I have added here a value. So we will see that what is key inside it and what is the value. But let's say before going to anything, let's print this so that we can see something on the screen. So I will be printing here my object. So if I write like this, I'm again telling you I'm using Node here. You can use your own console or anything you want to run this object. And my file name is object.js. And so you can see that we are getting the value and the key. Now if I have to check this object type, so what I can do, in previous I have already told you how you can check type of anything. So just write down type of, this is provided by default, and provide the name of that value or that particular, or you can say like you are using you are having object. So just write down the name of that thing. My object, I want to check the type of my object, so just write down here and again run. So you can see that this is my object and the type of it is object. Definitely we know that we are creating object, that type would be object, nothing inside that to be checked here. Well, again we will create a good object here so that we can perform a certain operation on that. So let's comment out all these things. Now again I'm creating an object by the name of, let's say, person, a relevant name. So a person can have different thing, and the main thing a person is having his username. So I'm writing my own name and adding the values in object will be using here colon, remember, not the equal to sign. And here username is my key and this is having my value. So username is key and Ankit Yadav is having value of that key. Remember one thing, in object keys are always string. So you can see that previously I am having here 0 as my key and 1 as my value. But here the key is coming like a string. So you write down here as a string or you write down directly that it will be always string. Remember that point. That will be helping us in solving the problems. Now let's add a more value here. Let's say a user can have their age, let's say 22. Now if I will be printing here again that person, so it should gives me the all the values. Let's clear the console so that we can have a good understanding and run this. You can see that it is giving me key value pairs. I am getting the key as a username and the age, and they are having their own values, right? Now if I want to add something in object, now what we are doing, we are manually adding here, but in our program we need to add something in that. For example, we will be going through some elements and we want if this condition happen, we want to add that thing inside our object. So condition we will go to later. Before going to that, let's add something in our object. So person is the name of this object, so I will write down person dot, let's say that person has a job role, and we will be adding that job role here, and the person is JavaScript developer. Okay, now if again I will print, so the job role will be added inside it. So you can see that that person is having username, his age, and his job role. Well, that's quite good. Let's see another way of doing same thing. This is the one way how can we add something inside the object. Second way of doing the same thing is that, let's say person, using square bracket I can do that, provide the string. Inside the string, inside square bracket, we will use colon, and in that we will be writing that key name. So let's say company name, and similarly we will provide the value of that person work at Workforwin. Now let's again print the value, and let's see what we get. So here you can see that a clear object we are having. First we add here username and age, then we add inside our job role, and then we add the company name in it. So these are the two ways of adding things inside the object. Well, what will be the benefit and when we should use which method to add? You can use any method. There is no issue regarding that using. It is not hardly recommended that you have to use this method, you have to that method. Any method you can use of your choice. The thing is that you have to remember, okay, this is the method using which I can add something inside the object. Well, let me tell you some interesting thing here. Okay, let's say if I am having a variable and that is having a value key, and that is holding an email. Now I want to add this email and its value inside the object. So if I will write down here person dot key, if I write down here person dot key is equal to, and I will write down, let's say email will be abc at the rate gmail.com. So what will be happening here? What do you think? The value of key is having email, and that value will be having abc at the rate gmail.com. So what do you think? What will be the output? It should be key as a email, right? But let's see what's happened here. If I print this, so you can see that's in key I am having key, not this email. So technically it should be, because I am defining key here and that is having value email. So technically email should become here, not the key, but it is coming as a key when we are storing it in object. So what we can do here and how can we solve this issue? Well, if I want to solve this, let's comment out. And again, the second method I have told you, I will use that person, and in that I will provide that variable key, and here I will be adding abc at the rate gmail.com. Now let's see, before that let's clear our console and again print. Now this time you can see that we are having email as our key. So this is the difference of adding the values in object using these methods. I'm hoping that it will be helping out you, and definitely you should remember this because this is an important point to be remember. Well, you know now how can we create an object and how can we add the values inside that object. But what if I want to print only the keys of that object? Well, in console.log we are writing here person, so you can see that person was holding things and it was adding inside it. But what if I want keys? So for that you have to write down here object dot keys. So this is the property object dot keys. This is the property provided by the JavaScript, and write down that object name inside it. Now if I will print here, let's clear console first, and now if I print here, so you can see that I am having my all keys. We will be needing all the keys somehow when we are solving problems. So it is again an important point. Now similarly, what if I want all the values? So for that we are having values, and if I will print this, so you can see that this is giving me keys and this is giving me all the values are stored there. Very simple. Let's say if I want to access the value using that key, how could I do that? Very simple. Before going to that, let's comment out, and let's say console.log again. Now I want to print inside this, let's say username, so I will write down person dot username. So this should give me the value Ankit Yadav. Let's clear the console and run again. So you can see that I am getting here Ankit Yadav. That's right, the value for that key. Similarly, I can access the age. It should give me 22. Well, we are getting 22. So till here we have learned ki how can we create an object, how to add the values, different method of adding the values and the key pair inside the object. Third thing we have learned ki how can we access the value. Also we have learned ki if we need only keys and values, how can we access that. Now we are having loops. I know till now we have not gone through loops, but it's very easy and basic things to be understand. Using the loops we can do same thing. Again comment out this, and this time I'm using for loop. Let keys of object dot keys, inside this I will provide the person. Now here I will do console.log again, and in this I will print keys. So what do you think it should print? Let's see. Before that, let's clear the console and print again. So this is giving me all the keys. So this is how using for loop we can do, but there is no use of doing that when we require only keys. We can directly use object.keys and we can get that things. But this is clear. Okay, how can we access all the keys? Well, now if I do something here like person dot keys, let's see what it's print. It's giving me undefined. Technically it should give me the values, but it's giving me undefined. Now you will say ki if I will write down person dot keys like this, so it will give some value. Definitely it will give me values. So to access we need to provide key and pair. So we are telling in person we are having this key, and for that key I want this value. So that's why you can see that before it was giving key, because that's a method of adding dot person dot keys. That's a method of adding, that's give definitely undefined. If I want to access the values, I can do like that. Second method is that I'm using here a lot of hell, a lot of work. If I write down loop again and I will write down let data in person, these are everything about the loops. You should be familiar with the loops in JavaScript, and JavaScript have good loops, believe me. I will write down person, and in this I will pass the data. It will provide me again the values we are having. So you can see that we got all the values we have. So this is one way of accessing keys and value. Similarly, this is also a way of doing that thing. So we have gone through some loops, and we see that how can we operate loops in objects. So this is everything about object. You do not need to go in deeper knowledge inside object. It is well and good if you can do that, but for solving and competitive programming, this is quite enough. So now I believe that you can do a problem, you can solve a problem, because you have learned about the arrays, you have learned about the object, and you have seen that how could you run the loops. Well, that's not good enough. In next session we will be solving an problem that will be a basic problem, but we will be going through a structured way. definitely a structured way. But next problem will be that the first problem that we will be going through ki how binary search works. Nothing to do with that. We will go in deeper about DSA and algorithm, but we have learned so far how to create an object and an array. So we will just, for our building in confidence, we will go through that. Well, we need to learn a lot of things before going to advanced topic, but step by step we will do everything. So thanks for having your time, valuable time. I hope this thing will be adding the values inside your knowledge. If yes, hit the like button, do comment and share definitely with your friends if you see it's adding something value to your life. Well, we will meet in our next session. Till then, bye bye.